Good day all. It is 6:43 p.m. on what they tell us is the 20th of the 12th, 2024. And I'm recording this especially for the solstice. I've just put a couple of posts up in my group on Facebook. One of them says, the ego is the spiritual self, and vice versa. And it is. It is. For those of you that have ever seen your loved ones in what we call spirit, those that have passed, you see them as they were here, or maybe a bit younger, or whatever. But, you see them as they were here. That's just the experience of the soul. That's all that is. All you are today, listening to this, is an experience of the soul. That's all you are. Nothing more than that. And you're basically impotent. And so were your ancestors. And so will your children be if we don't stand up now. We don't stand up now. When you become aware of the evil around us, as I do, it is, well, for me anyway, it's so difficult to ignore it. Tomorrow morning, here in the Northern Hemisphere, we have the shortest day. Down in the Southern Hemisphere, you'll have the longest day. And in 6 months' time, those roles will be reversed. Wherever you are in the world listening to this, take time to understand, comprehend, and act upon what I'm going to say to you. First, let me just say, I'm Bazzzilll, BBTT, Bazzzilll Broadcasting Truth and Therapy. I'm using the talking stick here on my channel, the Self-Preservation Society on Bitchute. Link to it in the description box below, and other information that I urge you to peruse and consider. But anyway, tomorrow morning, get up. Get up before the sun rises. Have a drink, whatever you want to do, and then go and stand outside or face the east where the sun comes up. And acknowledge that light. It might be behind some clouds, this, that, and the other, but acknowledge it. And that's what you are, your true essence, a mirror image of that light. Seek to comprehend and understand that. Not you the person, not you the spirit, but you the I am. The source consciousness on this soul's journey. Having a spiritual experience in a carbon-based unit body avatar in the third dimension on planet Earth. And know that anything else other than that is either what you do while you're here, ego, or how others perceive you. Stand facing the east and calm your mind, your body. Calm your ego, your spirit, and go into the very depths of your essence to where your light is. And know that you are Lucifer, the light and the way. Do not be in fear of that. And do not be in fear of Satan either, who they often tell you is one of the same things. You are more powerful than anything that they can throw at you. But you're in fear and ignorance of that because you're compliant to the darkness and the shadows that control you. Change that tomorrow morning. Stand up. Face the east. Compose yourself. And relax. And look towards where the sun is. And taking these words from your heart, intimating integrity, honesty, and humility, and speaking them not vocally, but through the right hemisphere of your brain, your head. Just look at that sun and say, I ask the universe to take from me all that is not of me and all that no longer serves me. And then do it again on the 22nd. And then do it again on the 23rd. Do it again on the 24th. And on the 25th. If you've done all this right with the proper intention, you will feel yourself rising and know that you, the true you, has risen. Trust me on that. I've given you all the information that you need. All you've got to bring to what I've just told you is your integrity, your honesty, your humility, and your intention. If you do what I've said, as I've told you, tomorrow, the 22nd, the 23rd, 24th, on the 25th, when you do it, you will feel something powerful within you. If you do it exactly as I say. You might not understand what it is that you're feeling. The understanding will come. The knowledge about what you've experienced will come, and then the awareness will come. Stop living a lie, people. Stop living a lie. Stop trying to convince yourself that you're something you're not until you prove to yourself what you truly are. Stop going along with that which enslaves you, controls you, manipulates you, and keeps you in compliance. Stand up. In your power, know your power, resonate with your power, utilise your power on these next few days, and do what I've said and project it outside of you. Don't just keep it within you. Bring it up and project it outside of you. And know how powerful you truly are. Don't go praying. Speak as an equal to the universe. Don't pray. When you pray, P-R-A-Y, you become the prey. And that's where Satan or those dark demonic spiritual forces will feast upon you. Be brave, be honest, and be true to yourself. And know thyself. And understand as you do this how natural you are. Because if all you do is be controlled by this physical third dimensional reality, by your mind, your ego, and by your spirit, you will never know and understand how powerful you really are. You've got to stand up in your power. Nobody can do it for you. But if we all do it together, what a difference a day or 4 will make. Think about what I'm saying to you. And please, please consider sharing this message. because it's important. I'm not important. The message is important. Think about it. Look at that meme there. And think about that deeply. Don't allow others to recruit you to hate somebody who's never wronged you. Our ancestors done it. We do it. And if we don't make a difference, make a change today, our children will continue to do it. I want to talk about some other things now. For those of you that have been listening to me for a while, you will know that I have roots both in spiritualism and also in the powwow movement, and because of my introduction to the spirituality and the philosophy and the traditions of the Native American peoples, namely the Lakota especially. Started in spiritualism in 1984, George Orwell, and in 1999, you will know if you've been listening to me for a while I was running a spiritualist church, what they call a suitcase church, where other people use that building as well. I was setting up the hall one Sunday, early summer I think it was, too long after Easter, all suited and booted, and I had the door at the other end of the hall open, looked round, and 16 people or so came in, led by this patriarchal figure called Bert Inglis, I later learnt. He taught me, or showed me, introduced me to the concept of spirituality as practiced by the indigenous peoples, especially the Lakota. And so I, in a very short space of time, could no longer, with integrity and any sort of self-awareness, self-esteem, run that spiritualist church anymore. So I shut the doors. Nobody else wanted to take it over, so I shut the doors. It was a pivotal moment in my life. Bert always said that Red Road, the Spirit Road, is the hardest road to walk. And he's right, and he's wrong also. I've learned that, because when you come to conscious awareness of the self, everything changes. And that's what happened to me. I knew Bert for 3 years. He passed in early 1992. And then wasn't too long after that, not too long at all, I started to awaken on a conscious level. Didn't know it at the time what was happening, but looking back, I can see how it transcended the spiritual self. That is merely the reflection, or what is left of any individual incarnation. It's not who and what I truly am, the I am. It's just an experience for the I am. And those experiences are infinite, because we don't know what it is to be in the eternal now. I'm asking you to do what I've suggested you do over the next 3 or 4 days, to get some understanding of what it is to be in the eternal now. And if you do it right, as I've said, with all good intention, integrity, honesty, and humility, you will shake yourself to the core of that there is no mistake. You will shake yourself to the very core of your being. Some of you may already, and I'm not saying I'm anybody special, and I know there's others out there that have already really opened their self up to the true self, transcending the physical, the mental, the emotional, the ego, the spiritual self to the true self. And it's very difficult to put into words how you feel, what you experience when that happens. I could probably put into words, if I wanted to take the time, everything about my spiritual awakening, but it's very difficult to do that with the conscious awakening of the self. Certainly in my experience. Certainly in a way that others can understand, comprehend, and whatever, because it's different for everybody. But I urge you to do what I've suggested you do over these next few days in order that you may achieve that. But anyway, going back to what I was saying about Lakota and that, I accepted for a long time that those people probably come across the Bering Straits. I don't necessarily see that now. When you look down in the bottom of South America, around that area, you'll see that science tells you, and whether you accept science or not, it's entirely up to you, but science tells you they have an awful lot of Polynesian genetics in their DNA. They must have come across via water. And the point I'm making is, again to quote Soren Kierkegaard, history is a lie, telling us of events that never happened and told to us by people that wasn't there. When I look at the work of John Levi, for instance, Jon Levi, and My Lunch Break, whatever, and others like them that show you a different story of America than what we're led to believe, or give you information that you would hopefully question the narrative, the official narrative. Don't be afraid to change, people. If you're going to be afraid of anything, be afraid of not changing. I've said many times before, the truth does not change to accommodate you. You, we, I have to change to accommodate the truth. And when new knowledge is presented to you, if your first reaction is to say, oh, if that were true, they would have told us, then give yourself top marks for being a compliant, ignorant slave. And I use these words deliberately, not to chastise you or to denounce you, but to empower, enlighten, and enable you to challenge yourself. Challenge all that you think, believe, or know to be true. Unlearn it, as Yoda tells us, in order that you may learn again. You know, when I look at these buildings from, might be a couple of 100 years ago, not too long after Columbus, and I consider, as I consider quite often, all we do after each and every reset is inherit what was left behind. That's all we ever do. And then we have to try and make sense of it, because it is all too often beyond our comprehension, beyond our knowledge and whatever, what we're seeing around us. That's part of the awakening process. It's a major, major part of the awakening process. And if you don't question, then you'll never, ever start to awaken. Don't care who you are, who you think you are. You'll never, ever start to awaken. I've often, over months now, if not longer, spoke about the difference between the spiritual aspect of self and the true aspect of self, the I am. The spiritual aspect is no more than a record of the physical aspect, you, the man or woman. That's all it is. It's a record of that in the spirit realms. And you wake up to it here, the spiritual self, and all you're doing is waking up to your ego, because you're perpetuating a cycle if you don't go beyond the spiritual aspect of self. You're just perpetuating a cycle, and through your fear, ignorance and compliance, allowing the true you, the I am, to be at the end of any incarnation, to be reincarnated into a new body, new form, with a new spirit for that body form. And those that rule you feast upon the energy of each incarnation on every level. You got to stop feeding those beings, people. And they're all spiritual. They're all spiritual. Then they haven't got the conscious awareness that we, the soul, have, because they're all too often soulless. Those that rule us and control us are soulless. They're only spirit. And they are here to keep the soul in darkness, blinded or in fear of its own light, so it can be controlled, manipulated, coerced into serving their agenda and being a food source for them, a battery, as Morpheus put it. Gotta wake up to that. And tomorrow will be a great, great time to start. A great time to start. Rise before the sun. Get yourself a drink, have a cigarette, something to eat, whatever you do, and then be out there as that sun rises and do what I've told you in the beginning of this broadcast. And do it for the next few days, the 22nd, the 23rd, the 24th, and then on the 25th. If you've done everything I've told you to do in the way I've told you to do it, you will feel that something is rising within you. You will feel that you have risen. Don't stop there, people. Don't stop there. Just don't stop there, because once you start, truly start, the alarm bells will be going off in all the spiritual realms. Then they will truly know that that which you truly are, the I am, is awakening to the self, the true self. And mark my words, and I don't say this lightly, things will start to get dicey, because they'll increase the propaganda and the fear and everything other. They will. Make no mistake about it, I wouldn't lie to you. They'll increase it because they want to hold on to the power and control over you. You can't fight them physically and win. Or if you can, it's not as important as standing in your power, in your light, and casting your light upon their darkness. That's really all you got to do, people. It's really all you've got to do. But before you can do that, you've got to be aware of your light, your power. And to do that, you've got to cast off all that doesn't belong to you and no longer serves you. That's why I've told you to do that in the morning. The number of people that have come to my house seeking my counsel over the years, and the first thing I'll get them to do is go outside and do that little ritual. We might say hello. If they come to me for a reading or whatever, or my counsel, we might say hello, and then before they utter a word about themselves, their problem, their issues, or whatever, I get them to go outside and do that little ritual. Then, once they've done that, then we continue. Then I might start doing them a reading, this, that, and the other, or sit there counselling them, this, that, and the other. I'm not the panacea to your issues or anybody's issues that walk through my door. All I can do is provide the tools for you to learn, to use, to utilise. You're your own saviour. Not me. Not anybody else outside you, and certainly not any bloody God that I've ever studied over 40 years. They all turn out to be under investigation, either an ET, an alien, or dark, demonic, satanic, spiritual being. Everyone I've ever studied over 40 years. You always had the power. The power's always been with you. And this solstice, tomorrow morning, don't worry if you've missed tomorrow morning by the time you hear this. Just do it as soon as you can. And know. Seek to know thyself. See loads and loads of people, and I was one of them. Trust me, I was one of them. And I continue to do it, to empower, enlighten, and enable. But, putting these memes out, this, that, and then I put loads of memes on here. And whatever, and thinking, such a mentality amongst people that, somebody's coming back to save them, or whatever. Christ is coming back to save them. I wonder if 2,000 odd years ago, before Christ was born, people were saying Mithra's coming back to save us, Mithra, whatever, or 2,160 years before that, Dionysus is coming back to save, or one of the other 15 or 16 that have popped along every 2,160 years. Don't tell me I'm wrong when the physical evidence is all there. Don't keep holding on to saviours. They are absolutely worthless, these saviours. Jesus Christ, Dionysus, Mithra, and all the others. They're absolutely worthless to you if you don't follow their teachings and do as they done. Waiting for them to come back and doing it again just shows how impotent, impotent you are. How much in fear you are, how ignorant you are. Just take the teachings attributed to Jesus. John 10:34, I tell thee, ye are all gods. Let your eye be single, know thyself. As I do, you can do also, and far greater things. Knowing the truth will set you free. Start tomorrow morning, if you can. And if you can't, start as soon as possible. That sun, however much they try to hide it, they cover it up, is merely a reflection of what is within you. If you think that sun outside of you is powerful, wait till you discover that power within you. If this message resonates, share the message. It's time to grow up, people. It's time to wake up. It's time to stand up. And it's time to stop living a fucking lie. What have you got to lose? What have you got to gain? That's the question you should be asking. What have you got to gain? If this message resonates, share the message. Don't share me. And any other message on my Bitchute channel. Wherever you're listening, link to it in the description box below if you're not listening there. Share the message, don't share me. Get up, stand up. Don't give up the fight. Palamia, thank you. In Akesh, in you I see an enemy. Mitakwi o Yasin. We are all related. We are all relatives. And I tell you, and I'll always tell you, continue to tell you, we're all connected. Share the message. Don't share me. See that dark screen there? You put the light there. You are the light that can chase away the darkness.